Hello, hello. Uh, I wanted to do this for my teacher um, and for the film students uh, or my fellow classmates in film history. Um, this is Chris Walker. This is something new I'm doing, um, and it's kind of my general rundown of the uh, all of the Best Picture Oscar contenders. Um, a little background: I use in my spare time. Um, I like to be an independent film critic, um, and I've probably seen all of the best pictures since 2000, 2002. Um, uh, as I told before, I've seen all of the pictures for every year. Uh, First, when they were at the regular five, and then when they switched from uh, 5 to 10 Oscar films, I usually like to see them all beforehand so I get a good idea of what they are. And some of them I like, some I don't like, and I agree with. So, without further ado, um, this is my general rundown of all of this year's nominated films for Best Picture, starting with the first nominated film, Belfast. This is a story told through the point of view of a little kid named Buddy um, during the days of uh, the uh, troubles in Ireland during the 60s at the time where the Catholics were in a kind of a war against the Protestants. Um, and it is told, and it is a memoir based on the director's Kenneth Branagh's own experience of living in Belfast, Ireland during the 60s. Um, I actually found it to be a wonderful film. Um, I love the fact that um, you see the buildings in Ireland in color in present day Ireland, uh, which bookends both, of which bookends the film, and then you have an extended flashback sequence told in black and white, um, which really does a great job at distinguishing. Um, I wish more of the actors did get nominated for the film, besides Judy Dench, even though I like her and she is a wonderful actress. I thought a few more people could have been or should have been nominated for the film, including the little kid and uh, the basically the wife um, or the kid's mother who is desperately trying to get her husband and her most of her extended family out of Ireland so they can have a better chance at life. Um, I also thought the grandfather, played by I think I might mess up the name, but Sion Hines did a wonderful job at this, as was Katrina Balfe, who played the mother. Um, and about, I mean, Kenneth Branagh's direction style was very good. Um, this was probably a little different from his Shakespearean works I've seen, but it kind of segues into that a little bit by his love of the theater. And actually, the theater was really great because whenever he goes to the theater and sees it performed on stage, it's actually the only portion of the film other than the bookends that are shown in color. And I really appreciated that. I thought there was a unique touch, a unique aspect that he gives film, um, provides a sense of almost hope on the horizon, or he views like a little hope in there, and I felt that wonderful. Cinematography was great. As I said, the acting was very good. Um, and I did like the overall story to this. Um, and as for my rating on this, I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 4 stars, or as I do it by film miles, I would give it 3.5 out of 4 film miles. Next film, Coda. Wow, this was a wonderful surprise. I really liked it for the acting and the story, the full unique approach of uh, basically telling a movie in American sign language. Um, Coda, as many of you know, is short for uh, children of deaf adults, and uh, there was another girl in Doug's class um, that had parents that were um, deaf, and I would probably recommend this to her as well. Um, but I just loved everything about it. The acting, the use of music, and uh, there was uh, hardly any dialogue in it. When it was spoken through the voice of the girl, of the main the daughter, so played by Emilia Jones, who wants to go to a music school or musical academy, and really wants her parents' approval, um, as her parents are deaf and uh, don't understand, don't know how to express it, and spends all the day basically uh, uh, in a little fishing community. Um, and with it being told in American Sign Language, think you get more of the depth, emotion, um, and feel for the main characters. It was, yeah, it was so rapturous. And moments, and overall it was a great film. So I would give it a full 4 out of 4 film ladles. Um, don't look up. I uh, I'm a little mixed on film. It came out at uh, at either the right time or the wrong time. It was poking fun on all those den- deniers who want political correctness. Um, but I mean, some of the acting was top notch. Some missed the mark. Um, but I kind of got the sense who uh, they were riffing off after while watching the film. Um, the Leonardo DiCaprio and Meryl Streep, man, they should have gotten like nominations for this because they played their characters great. Um, so did Jennifer Lawrence. Jonah Hill was okay. Um, as kind of like a male version of Ivanka Trump. But yeah, I kind of hit the mark on some levels and then missed it on others. Um, so, but overall, I would also say that I really enjoyed. One of the things it did to get nominated for was Best Original Song, and I usually am not a fan of Ariana Grande's music, but her, I mean, her song in the movie was a brilliant, like 360-degree turnaround for her, and it seemed to kind of spoof upon um, upon the pop music that she is known for, and I just just really liked the song from listening to the soundtrack. So overall, this film would receive probably a 2.5 film oil star system from me. Okay, drive my car. This was actually the last film that I saw. I did see this yesterday, um, and it was really a long one. Um, it takes about 40 minutes until the actual credits appear in the movie. Um, but I mean, and I was surprised um, by as Jap- it was a Japanese film, and it's also a foreign film nominee um, in the country of Japan. Well, I came from, um, but was a very well done film. It was slow and really long, but I think it's worth deserving a mention, even if it does not pick up the Best Picture trophy. Um, I also found it odd that it was released through Janus Films, which I think either Janus or Janus is, uh, from what I know, is specifically known for um, is specifically known for putting out like remastered versions of really old foreign films. So for this, getting the best picture from Giannis is really took the ball up a notch. But I found it really poetic in parts. This is regarding a man's wife who dies of a cerebral hemorrhage, and two 2 years later is asked to oversee a, a performance of Uncle Vanya, um, and this skull has been hired to drive him around back and forth uh, through 6 weeks of productions, rehearsals, and then the actual performance itself. Um, like I said, it was long. It was totally, it's slow, long, but at the end, it's totally worth it. If you guys can stand it and stand really um, lengthy foreign films, but I found it somewhat lyrical and poetic in nature, and it just moved with kind of an honest fluidity about it. Um, the extremely long takes and um, the dialogue is very like slow moving. It's not like fast. It's so overall, I would say like um, 3.5 to 4 film stars from this one. I need to probably see it again, like over some or when I'm done with the class films to get a better take on it. Um, but from first glance, it was really good. Dune Part One. Um, and yes, this is a filmed version of the first half of Frank Herbert's sci-fi masterpiece, um, and it was directed by, I'm gonna mess up on his last name, Dennis Villeneuve, um, who made 2 of the best films I've seen before of his, um, Sicario and Arrival. But yeah, this is the first half of the book, and they're filming the second half of it later for 2023 release. And there might be a film version of Dune Messiah that acts as a closure of the trilogy. Should the director decide to make it, that would be probably 2025 or 2026. But I mean, it was really slow in parts, and that was to build up this whole futuristic world of the planet Arrakis in the far future of the year 10,194, as 2 families, or 2 of the houses of the Harkonian, and they traded these households fight for control of the spices on the planet of Arrakis, and uh, the person that controls the spice basically controls all of life. Um, like I said, the world building was slow. I liked some of the acting. Um, it was slow in the first half, but picked up a little steam towards the latter half. Um, I would actually say the things about it: great cinematography, great art direction, um, and great use of the makeup. Um, I would probably like to uh, hear maybe Dylan's thoughts on it, since uh, she comes from a background of makeup, to see what her thoughts of this film were. Um, but overall, I would probably give this 2.5 out of 4. Um, it does have good world building, and I did like the art direction and the design of the buildings and stuff. Um, but yeah, I would totally maybe be down to invest in the second part when it comes out. All right, so next movie, King Richard. I really loved of but Will Smith's performance in this. Um, as he portrays the father of the of Venus and Serena Williams, who would later go on to be uh, uh, some of the greatest tennis champions in the world in their own right. Um, I really liked the acting in this. It looked like Will Smith was on key. He really inhabited the part of Richard Williams, um, and it seemed he was really dedicated to the role. Um, and I just loved the whole story. It told uh, it told the story not only from the father's perspective, but from the perspective of the Williams sisters, as well as um, they uh, they try to become the best tennis players in the world, and we get to see their um, daily, daily struggles at trying to balance uh, being tennis uh, tennis professionals with regular um, normal childhood and adolescent life at having friends, and yeah, so it was really good. I loved the movie itself, um, and I would probably give it a. I would probably I would probably give this between a 3 to 3.5 film railroads. Licorice Pizza. It was by Paul Thomas Anderson and um, Paul Paul Thomas Anderson is one of those ones who are uh, either a hit or miss for me. Um, but I really like this film. I I don't think it was necessarily of like best picture material. Um, and I thought, I mean, when I saw the trailers, I thought it was going to be more set around uh, Hollywood, during LA, kind of like the Hollywood or LA area during the 1970s. Um, but most was centered in Encina, which I did know, but it was very good coming of age story, basically that setting. Um, and uh, I really liked Cooper Hoffman in this. He is so much like his father, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Uh, that was uncanny to watch in some parts. Um, and I thought Alana Haim did a great job also. Um, but I mean, some parts were, uh, I mean, very slow and did it, did it connect with me overall. Um, I did like some of the, I did like the use of music in the film. Having a 70s soundtrack was really great. Um, but I mean, this was okay, and I would not have seen it as best picture quality. But since it had Anderson's name attached to it, um, that's probably what sealed the deal. So I would give this uh, probably 2.5 out of 3 stars. Um, but yeah, best picture quality. It's best picture quality. I don't think so. Nightmare Alley. This was a bizarre film, uh, but I must say it did have great acting. I thought Bradley Cooper did an amazing job, and from the trailers, I thought this was could be more of a pulp, pulp, pulpy noir. It did have that film noir aspect to it, um, and it was vastly different um, uh, from other Guillermo del Toro movies I've seen. Um, the Shape of Water, Blade 2, and uh, Pan's Labyrinth, to name a few. Um, I thought the story was a little bizarre, but it did make great use of the art direction and taking us back to the era of 1940s. Uh, so, but I mean, yeah, Kate Blanchett did a great uh, did a great job of being like the kind of the femme fatale character, uh, and Bradley Cooper I see playing more of like what what uh, the leading males of the film was have, because this was very vastly uh, had some of those film noiristic elements to them. Um, uh, Guillermo del Toro also mentioned he released a black and white version of that he considers superior, and I kind of am interested in seeing the what the black and white version has to offer from this. It was a little slow in parts, but overall, it was impressive. Um, I would probably give this an overall of 2.5 films, film idols out of 4. The Power of the Dog. Um, this was very good, um, but at the same time, very, very intense to watch. Um, I really did like the acting from Benedict Cumberbatch, um, Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst, and Cody Smith McPhee. Um, and I really like the use of the location aspect. It was very, um, it reminded me very much of a Western film. Um, and this kind of reminded me along the same um, along the same vibes as Brokeback Mountain. Um, but yeah, those two were very, very different films, but it was along that vibe for me. And Benedict Cumberbatch did a very, very convincing job of being being cruel, but yet um, hiding his overall emotions at the same time. And uh, it seems like he was very alienated. Um, and he's a more or less kind of a tragic figure. So overall, I would probably get, this would be another film I would probably give a strong 4 film radars, but I would have to see it again um, to solidify my to justify my results of the 4 and 4. But very well done, great screenplay, great acting overall. Last but not least, West Side Story. This is Steven Spielberg's reinterpretation or modernized version of uh, of the famous Broadway production and subsequent 1961 film version. Um, uh, Unlike the last one, Spielberg, I think, paid attention to detail very well as he wanted some Latin American actors and actresses to really play the part of um, uh, the Latin American group, gang group, the Sharks, and I think he achieved this. I think he hit the mark. Whereas the last one, the only one you had was Rita Moreno, who does appear in the new film, but I mean Natalie Wood does not uh, did not look the part. Neither did some of the others. I think Spielberg nailed it though. I know it's gonna have some detractors because it's a remake, but I mean, he was focused to the story. It was well done, uh, and I liked the leads who played the roles of Tony, Maria, and Anita, and Oida Moreno did a great job as sort of a new character, um, which was like the female version of Doc in the old film. Um, so I really loved that, and the fact that he he wrote a role for Oida Moreno, who did play Anita in the original film, uh, was a great addition. Um, like Also, like the last film, I could see a lot of resemblances to uh, William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The Jets being the Montagues, uh, the Salts Capulets. You have Maria, who's a stand-in as Juliet. Um, Tony, Romeo. You have Bernardo Tybalt. And you've got and Lev. You've got as Mercutio. Um, and I like the music to this. Um, uh, one thing, one thing I've lately found that was different about the two versions, um, since it was a different style in 1961, it tended to focus a lot more on the choreography, the dancing, and the overall footwork. Uh, they paid pristine attention to that, um, and it was very much more detailed. Um, it was sorely lacking in some parts of the 2021 film version, and I kind of missed that aspect. Um, the scene you see behind me is an example of this. The school dance off scene. Uh, it was more focused on the dancing, the choreography. Um, in the 61 version, and it was a little truncated or shortened down, um, but that did not detract from the movie or the overall message that he was trying to go for. Um, and that contributed to uh, not not overall the best work of Spielberg, but uh, kind of puts it up there with one of the good ones. Um, I would probably give this between probably a 3 and 3.5. Okay, so those are my overall picks, or overall thoughts of the films. Uh, Now it's for me. I would probably choose um, either two films to win Best Picture. Um, it would be either between Belfast or Coda, I think, will win. Um, and Coda is going to be a pretty interesting scenario to see how it turns out because if Coda wins, it will be the first time a streamer uh, or streaming service has won the Academy Award for Best Picture, which will be a huge game changer. Um, I have no idea at this point on how the film community is going to react to a streaming service if it wins the Best Picture overall. Um, but it could be, yeah, pretty different because it does attract the overall box office uh, numbers. Um, um, so it could be pretty interesting. Um, Belfast was a strong uh, Belfast was a strong consideration for me at the beginning because it won the Golden Globes for Best Drama and stuff, and West Side Story won for Best Musical, um, which surprisingly does. The 1961 version also won that too for Best Musical. So that was actually the first time both versions won in different years. I'm getting ahead myself. Uh, so Belfast started with the Golden Globes, um, and there was pretty much winning up until the SAGs, Screen Actors Guild, from Screen Actors Guild and on, production Guild Awards, Writers Guild, you started seeing Coda win big time, and that elevated its status. So, um, yeah, Belfast and Coda are pretty much my bets. I wouldn't be really surprised if it pulls an upset victory like Parasite did, but with Parasite and Coda, I know those were game changers. So we'll probably see in a few months if Coda wins how the Hollywood theatrical system will react to that. So those are my overall picks. I'm sorry about the length of this video. I tried to cut it down a little with the editing techniques and all that. Um, but I'm sorry about the length. Um, but if you would like to comment to me about it or anything, feel free to do so. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to think about the Oscars and Italian neorealism. Thank you for listening to this. Bye.